Welcome back to the channel. We here finally. I'm late to this, late as hell to this, but Dragon Age the Veilguard's 22 minutes of gameplay with BioWare. I recorded this once, like with the small one. You could barely see shit. I want to point out a lot of things in this video. I'm not gonna break it down. I'm not about to stop at every point in time. We're gonna watch this for sure. I'm not about to hey, I'm milking this motherfucker for like 2 hours or some shit, something crazy. But there's quite a bit to see. There's quite a bit to talk about in this gameplay. Turn this up so y'all can hear it. IGN's first look.
What's up, everybody?
I do have to start off by saying it. The host, absolute garbage. But that's fine. We're going to get to the gameplay.
I'm Kat Bailey, and this is our extended look at Dragon Age the Veilguard's gameplay. I'm here with BioWare lead developers Corinne Bush and John Epler. Corinne, what are we looking at today?
Two names I never heard of.
So today, we're going to be helping out one of our companions, Davrin. This is part of his personal arc to rescue the Griffins long thought extinct. We're going to take a quick journey through the lighthouse, your base of operations. We're going to head into the crossroads and make our way to the dark swamps of Hosberg wetlands.
So you're in the lighthouse, as Corinne mentioned. This is your base of operations that you inherited willingly or unwillingly from Solus. It is located in the Fade. It's where Solus was able to start planning his rebellion against the Elven gods millennia ago. Right now, you and your team have occupied it, started to build it, started to shape itself around your personality. As Corinne mentioned, we are going.
See, when they say to start to shape itself, I'm like, is it like the one room from Harry Potter? You know, the room that like Harry went into, the room of remembrance or something like that? And it starts to like, shift and change to what you need in the world. That could be kind of cool because they had that in Hogwarts Legacy and that shit was actually fire.
And each of these spaces kind of shapes itself around your companions as they live there, as they basically spend their
What is that flying thing right there?
arcs in those rooms.
And we see here the glowing light above indicates Davrin's ready for us. Let's check in with him.
Yeah, they have fucking consent lanterns.
Something wrong?
Got a message. Place called the Cauldron was attacked.
That's some sort of Grey Warden tavern.
It's a secret Warden readout. No idea what goes on there.
Then why are you involved?
This nigga voice deep as hell. I was not expecting it to be that goddamn deep.
Because whatever attacked it sounds like the Gloomhowler.
And this nigga look weird as fuck. See, Kunaris don't supposed to look like normal people. And the fact that this nigga looks so normal until you get to his big ass fucking head, I'm like, that nigga don't look Kunari enough to be Kunari. He's not even tall enough. He's not big enough. Kunaris aren't normal size niggas. So I don't know why they got this nigga looking so normal. Like from the fucking eyebrows down, he like a normal nigga. Ears not pointy enough. They should be like fucking Davrin's ears. This nigga should be gray. He just looks weird as hell, bro. I don't know why they went with this design. I don't know who the fuck made this character, but that nigga he looks like shit, bro. I'm not even gonna fake it to you. That's not a Kunari, my nigga.
So earlier in Davrin's arc, you were introduced to his nemesis, the Gloomhowler, a creature that's been hunting and stalking wardens for quite some time. It's kidnapped a bunch of other griffins. Davrin has been trying to track it down. Now he's got a lead, so we're going to go find this and go track this thing down.
Now, Davrin, he prefers the direct approach. We're going to choose a tough response and see if we can get his approval.
Then let's get rid of it.
Had the same thought. What's left of the Wardens are still licking their wounds. So we handle this alone. Just go to the Cauldron and get the Griffins back. You have to promise to behave, boy. Listen to every word I say, stay out of trouble, don't do anything dumb, and don't eat any.
I think we get the point.
Lancet and Remy told me there's a word for the bond between a Griffin and Warden moving as one. Turlum. Until Hassan and I have that, I'm supposed to keep him safe.
I have to say that I find the Griffin adorable.
And very importantly, I know this is a question on everyone's mind. Yes, you can pet Hassan.
Well, thank goodness for that.
We actually don't
all
care.
right, what are we going to be doing?
I want to
next?
take him from
He's up for
Davern.
this.
All right, we're gonna finish getting this information from Davern on the Gloomhowler, and we'll be off to Hossberg and the Crossroads.
Between Warden and Griffin starts by having faith in each other.
Maybe. I suppose you were born for this sort of fight, boy. All talents and temper.
And a sharp tongue to remind you of it.
As long as he backs it up.
So I assume that Asan can be helpful during the gameplay?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, a lot of Davern's abilities revolve around calling Asan in the heat of battle. I in particularly love
Go
when
back.
you're going against
Go back.
enemies.
Asan can be helpful during the gameplay?
No,
Oh,
fuck all this shit.
absolutely. In fact,
I
a
want to
lot
see
of
that fucking
Davern's
statue.
abilities revolve around calling Asan in the heat of battle.
You see that motherfucking ogre statue? Like OG ogre? With the nigga on his back about to stab him? That shit's fire. I don't know about the rest of these. Like, he got, like, horns. I don't know what the fuck those horns are. Pictures of nugs. Then he got, like, some... I don't know what the fuck these are. What skeleton this is? Might be the skeleton of a dragon's tail.
I in particularly love when you're going against enemies. You see Asan swoop down, especially if it triggers a combo between your companions.
Then everybody's rooms
One of the
around.
interesting fun things we've done is if you see the lights on in a room, companions have something to say. You can see Harding up in that space there, Nev behind you as well, and Belara. But we have a mission ahead of us. We're going to go find the Gloomhowler if we can, and we're going to go through the Crossroads in order to do that. And the Crossroads, if you've played previous Dragon Age games, Trespasser in particular, is a location in the Fade that contains a number of alluvians, allowing you to travel across Thedas in a matter of minutes. But at this point, the Crossroads are under assault by the other elven gods. It's a dangerous place, and we are going to be in for a bit of a fight.
Hey,
In
look.
this alluvian, the Beer of Voss.
I didn't see that the first time. But look. There's Varric. There's Varric. He's alive. He's not dead.
This is the central focus point of the lighthouse. This is going to take us to Solus's pocket area of the Crossroads, and it might look a little bit different from what you've seen in Trespasser.
Can you tell us a little bit?
Wait, go back. Because I didn't read that. Go back.
And we are going to be in for a bit of a fight.
And this alluvian, the Beer of Voss, is the central focus point of the lighthouse. This is going to take us to Solus's
What is all these
pocket
fucking
area
codex
of the
entries that they don't pick
Crossroads,
up?
And it might look a little bit different from what you've seen in Trespasser.
So you can't just fast travel to the direct quest. I think they did mention that. They discovered nothing in the Crossroads, so it was legit just all just out there. I don't know what the hell the elven god symbols are, because there's the two elven gods. Don't know what that means though. That's the current quest that they're on. These are the two people they pick, which is, bro.
Can you tell us a little bit about the role that the Crossroads plays in the structure and the gameplay?
Yeah, so the Crossroads is, again, it's the area that you spend a lot of time traveling through as you go from area to area. It's also a space that has, at one point, served as Solus's main base of operations and training ground for his rebellion against the Elven gods. So as you go through it, you're going to find fragments of the past, the things that Solus had done previously that are going to give you a bit of insight into Solus as a character, but also into the Elven gods and their motivations.
Some of my favorite content that you'll find if you go exploring in the Crossroads is these opportunities to actually relive some of the memories Solus had during his rebellion.
Look, it's fucking
You actually get to
Carrion.
take part.
Carrion
in
come
this
pick you up
ancient
on a boat.
rebellion.
And here we have the Caretaker, a mysterious spirit that was actually here before Solus was and started to help Solus with his rebellion, but also to turn this into a safe haven for spirits. Again, as I mentioned before, the gods are assaulting the Crossroads, so it's no longer the safe haven it once was, but you're going to work with this Caretaker through quite a large amount of
That's Ozamar.
ancillary content to rebuild this into that safe home for these creatures that, if anyone knows Solus, he has a tremendous amount of affection for spirits.
Yeah, we don't care about the spirits. But this is a Crossroads. And remember, in Origins, fucking Morgan and the Warden go to the Crossroads at the end of Witch Hunt. If you go with her, at least. That's where they raised their kid, in the Crossroads. Dude, can we find this nigga's house? I don't know, bro.
All right, now we're gonna get into combat here, and this time we're playing as a mage.
missing, bro.
Now, Mage is one of my
Damn.
favorite classes to play. It's primarily a ranged attacker, and when we're surrounded by swarming darkspawn, I really have to use a variety of strategies to control the battlefield. I'm going to use my heavy charged attacks to...
What I don't understand about this gameplay is Buddy chose Mage. High power Mage looks pretty good. It looks pretty fun. But this man chose another Mage and another Mage. Because Harden is a scout. She has that bow and she has magic. So she's a rogue, I guess. But she has magic and rogue skills. 3 ranged niggas and he's getting chased around by fucking darkspawn.
knock down these ghouls, get them out of the way.
And I'm like, why
Of
didn't you
course,
pick a
darkspawn
warrior to come with you, bro?
vulnerable
Just
to
one
fire.
warrior.
So we made sure to equip our fire staff, have our fire abilities on hand.
Or at least like a
You know,
front-facing
something about the Darkspawn,
rogue,
too,
bro.
that
You
they
should have
look a
chose
little bit
what
different than
old
they had
dude with the
previously.
fucking wings.
And part of that is because Gillinane, who has always been focused on using the Blight as essentially a crafting material, a way to alter life itself, has been enhancing and changing these darkspawn as part of her.
Oh, good
army.
block.
Corinne, I noticed that you were doing a combo
Did
opportunity.
he block
Can you tell us a
Harden
little
when
bit
he
more
blocked
about
right there?
how the role that plays in the actual combat?
Yes, so the combat system in this game, the deep strategy behind it is really to manage the various abilities your companions and Rook have in concert. So in this case, Harding has a combo opportunity with Shred. It's going to apply the Sundered effect and deal a high amount of stagger. Now you'll notice I can combo that with Rook's ability Spirit Bomb. That's going to cause a detonation combo.
So, again, one of the things you'll
This
notice
shit was
about the
kinda
terrain
cool.
here is it's very snowy, very mountainous. The Crossroads is a realm that reflects the waking world. In this case, it's an amalgamation of all the real world spaces that are tied to it. In the case, we've got Hosberg, we've got other mountainous regions. So it's kind of this mix of the swamp and
Yeah, it's
you'll see
definitely
as we move
dwarven.
towards these alluvians. The architecture around them very clearly.
So do you go to
reflects some
Ozamar
things.
in this
I'm not gonna
game?
spoiler and tell you
'Cause they go to
exactly
this
what's
way.
inside, but you maybe make a few guesses based on what you're seeing.
Do I have to do the crossroads, or can I just fast travel right through?
So it depends how you progress through the game. The first time you go to any of the new regions in the world, you'll traverse the crossroads to get there. Subsequent times, we of course support fast travel, but it behooves you to actually go back and explore the crossroads as some of the deepest secrets lie within.
So now you're in Hosberg Wetland. It's an area that has been almost completely consumed by the Blight. The Grey Wardens have set up an outpost here. Again, if you know anything about the Grey Wardens, they fight the Blight anywhere they see it. And they're noticing something strange is going on here. The Blight is not behaving as they expect it to and as it historically has. So they've set up shop in this place called Lavendel. And you are here to work with them, help them out, and help them find an answer to the questions about the Blight that they're asking.
Tell me a little bit more about this area. It looks a little bit like a hub where you can get a lot of quests and things like that.
That's right. So here we find one of the bases of the Grey Wardens. So you'll see they've really built up a small fighting force here to hold off the Darkspawn. What's more, the Grey Wardens are a faction we're going to be working with throughout the game. We've got Holden, one of the Grey Warden quartermasters. We're actually going to upgrade his shop and see what items he has in store for us, see if maybe it gives us an edge.
So they have faction levels. We don't know what the faction level, like the power of them. I guess there's gonna be like the galactic readiness of Mass Effect 3. Because they have a power level. So that means you help them, you get their power level to 3 stars. Because the in-game battle, you probably have to bring all the factions together. And if one faction is weak, so like the Grey Wardens might get fucking wiped if you lead it as 1 star and they come to the in-game battle with you. Like they might get wiped out as a faction. They might not exist no more at the end of the game. We don't really know how that goes. You store upgrades just so they can have new items. I mean, I guess that keeps you doing something with the materials that you pick up other than crafting your own things. If they have crafting in the game, I'm not sure. But those are things that I seen when I came through this map.
And the Grey Warriors, much like the other factions, they understand the stakes of the gods being out. They want to help you, but you need to
Griffin's
help them
talent.
first. They have, again, as Kryn mentioned, they're holding off the Darkspawn here. They
Oh,
have
you can
other
already
priorities,
see
so
the items you
getting them
can't
more
buy.
powerful allows them to more meaningfully contribute to your fight against the elven gods.
So where are we going next?
All right, so we're heading out of the Grey Warden Fortress into the small town of Lavendel. Now, this used to be a beautiful place full of life, flowers, and you can see what effect the blight has had. But the residents are still here. They're trying to make the most of their lives, and you can see there's plenty of opportunities to help them. In fact, we're going to quickly check in with Finn the physician and see what he has in store for us.
So Flynn, again, one of the focuses of this game is characters, not causes.
I've been busy with patients, but I'm short on medical supplies.
What do they mean
My
characters,
mentor,
not
Oscar,
causes,
he should
though?
have some. He has a cabin outside the village. If you're out there, tell him you saw Flynn, and they could use his help.
And Flynn is a warden who you will do quests with. We wanted to make sure that the side content of Dragon Age of the Veilguard felt as meaningful and tied to the overall conflict of the game as anything else you do. We don't want you to just go off and do random tasks. Everything needs to feel meaningful, either contributing to your fight against the gods or contributing to the growth of your companions and the factions that you need at your side to stop the gods.
You look a bit worried.
We're not sure where some of our wardens are, Beckett and a few others. We're supposed to check in. We need to look out for each other more than ever. It's just, I know they took Weishaupt hard, and I hope they're okay.
All right, so we picked up a couple of quests in Lavendel, but we're here to help Davrin. So we're going to make our way through the perils of Hosberg and try to get to this Warden Fortress of the Cauldron.
Seeing a lot of
The little dark spawn.
organic matter. I suppose that's the blight.
Absolutely. So the blight at this point, as mentioned before, the wardens understand it's changed. It's become a lot more organic, a lot more alive. You know, back in Dragon Age 2, Inquisition, Origins, the blight, while it was a slow-moving wall, it didn't have this almost sentience, this almost thought behind it. And obviously, we've talked about how the gods that are out are blighted. That probably has something to do with it, and it's made this area far more dangerous than it would have been before.
And you might notice as we get into combat with some of these dark spawn that they do look a little bit different than before.
Oh, that is
And
Ogre.
that's very
Okay.
intentional. Gillenane, the god of monsters, she uses blight like a medium to sculpt and warp the dark spawn to do her bidding, to suit her purposes.
So right now you'll see a couple of Hurlocks, one with some pretty disgusting growths on its back. Again, the idea that the Darkspawn and the Blight is an organic weapon. They're not just coming out and, making swords, making armor. They're using the Blight to augment themselves so they can more effectively defeat you and also give the gods the world that they desire.
All right, now I'm actually going to switch to my Orb and Dagger on the Mage, and those of you that were fans of the Knight Enchanter in Dragon Age Inquisition, you might feel right at home with this. This is a more melee-focused, more agile version of the Mage. One of the main mechanics here is you can use this Elemental Orb to apply stacks of elemental damage to the enemy, and then unleash them with your dagger to detonate them.
See, the Knight Enchanter was hot ass as a mage class, bro. Like, that shit wasn't fucking good. Unless it was Viv, because she was throwing barriers left and fucking right. Like, having her use the sword, that shit was trash. That shit did not do a lot of damage. It was actually garbage. The barrier magic was great. The regen of your freaking mana was great. Those things were good. Using a little sword and like you got the little dagger and the orb. I mean, for fashion, that should probably fire. But like, you was just throwing dagger strikes. The motherfuckers was barely doing damage, bro. Putting stacks of, necrotic on, that's cool and all. But that's just not strong. Nigga, and he's getting his ass beat on. Look at that nigga's health bar. Completely depleted because you're a mage. Nev's a mage. Harden's a fucking rogue with a bow. you're just getting beat on by these darkspawn, and I'm like, why did you choose to do this? Why did you choose to play like this?
So, again, we're in. You'll notice that there are blight pools. The darkspawn aren't just coming out of nowhere. The blight is spawning them. Again, part of Gillian's attempt to turn this into an army for the gods is to use these darkspawn, not just, again, whereas you have the Venatori and the Antam, one case representing magical power, in the other case representing physical strength, the darkspawn are representing overwhelming force.
That was a pretty clutch heal a little earlier, by the way.
You know, we've talked at length before that our fans have asked us, where is the healing magic? Can you bring it back? And Nev in this game, happy to oblige with a kit of healing spells.
So one of the interesting things that I love about our companions is each of them, their abilities, the way that they're built,
That was
they're
clean.
very thematically appropriate to the character. They're very focused on making sure that the gameplay and the narrative are as closely aligned as possible. In the case of Nev versus Vlar versus Amrik, our mages, each of them has a healing ability that is thematically appropriate to them. It makes sense when you know them as a character.
Watching you play, I'm struck by sort of the size and the scope of this particular area. It seems like there's a lot of exploration that I can be doing right here.
Some quick loot.
That was really one of our goals with these areas. Of course, we are a mission-based game, but we really emphasize player autonomy. You can revisit these spaces. They're
Use the companion's abilities with the Lyrium Dagger. Companions can be called upon to help via Lyrium Dagger, even when they're not present in the party. That shit's actually kind of fire. Like the little soulless dagger thing that they can use.
full of secrets, puzzles.
This is what I
some
want.
pretty incredible bosses and treasure. And of course, as we saw earlier in Lavendel, some really
Because look, you can take the Griffin.
rich side quests.
You can take the Griffin.
One thing
But
that's
like,
interesting is you'll find we're going on a quest for Davern, but Davern is not currently in our
how
party.
do
That's because
like who do you
Davern
put in the
has gone
dagger?
ahead of us and is waiting for us at the cauldron. This is, again, we want the followers, the companions, to feel like they have autonomy, and while they won't complete the quest on their own, they will go ahead and get things ready. So when you get there, you can have you talk to them, you have a conversation with them, and it feels like they are as invested in the success of their journey, their stories, as you are.
This looks like a pretty contiguous zone, is that right?
It is, yes. So it's full of branching paths, different areas to explore. And what I love is the more content you do in the area, the more shortcuts you're going to discover. You're really going to have a lot more flexibility in how you navigate between your remaining missions and quests.
Well, I think something really interesting too about the way that our team has built these spaces is there's the idea of each space has its own story to tell. And while those quests, you know, we talked earlier about those quests and side quests being narratively relevant, they also contribute to a more of a meta story about the space itself. So in the case of Hosper, we talked about how this is an area surrounded by blight, and you're kind of getting to the center of what exactly is going on in Hosberg and Lavendel, and these quests that you do and the content Corinne is currently engaged in helps to tell that story.
Cooked.
All right.
Why did you try to shoot
Our
through that board?
companions are up here attacking this dark spawn on their own. Let's give them a quick hand. All right. And I love positional gameplay, making use of the environment to your advantage.
And I just saw that you could do a takedown move, so it's kind of a finishing move.
You can. Now, in this particular build, I'm really focused on using necromantic energies to siphon life force. But if I, for instance, wanted to go the stagger route, I could go a full takedown build if I like. It's a really powerful, heavy-hitting style of gameplay.
All right. So you'll notice Davern is waiting for us. So let's go see what he has to say. The sun flies in.
Yeah, a bad day at the cauldron.
What could do that?
Look at that motherfucker pulsing, bro.
Inside.
So something tore through the gate. That's probably not great. Looks like we should probably get moving.
We won't find out standing around here.
Be ready for anything.
So because we don't have Davern in our party, he's going to move ahead and wait for us while we bring Nev and Harding along to clear a path for ourselves to find Davern and get to where he is.
Can you talk a little bit about how Nev and Harding sort of synergize during the combat?
Yeah, so Nev and Harding, Nev is a mage, Harding is a rogue, and each of the classes, and you can build a party entirely of one class if you want, but the idea is that the classes synergize and they can set up and detonate each other's abilities in a very interesting way. Now, because you have a lot of freedom in how you build your character, you can, again, as said, you can have all
Getting
rogue
beat
party, all
on,
mage
bro.
Party, all warrior party, it still works. But in this case, Nev and Harding are very effective at setting up and detonating, in this case, as Corinne's going to show.
So we're in danger here, and this is really what I love about the tactical layer of combat. If you get in that clutch situation where you've got this devastating incoming attack, great time to pause gameplay, weigh your options, and in this case, I'm going to go back to our combo here and see if I can just quickly get out of the way. All right. You can see I've applied siphoning to these enemies, so I'm actually going to be leeching their health when I use my Mage Beam.
See, what I did notice is I think they took the Mass Effect 2 approach to these skill things. Because they all used a skill and you see they have to recharge. Mass Effect 2 did that, where like you only can use one skill at a time. Mass Effect 3 got better at it, so you can use like more than one skill from a party member. I think. Or I might got that in reverse. Well, no, I think you can use more than one skill as like from party members, because one of them will be cooling down and the other one will still be available, so you can use them bitches separately, independently. But they use a skill, like he just comboed a skill with Harding and now she's on cooldown. You can't pop another skill with Harding yet. Why? If she has 3 skills, would they do that again? I don't know. Maybe it's to keep combat from getting too easy. Then now you have to pick and choose which skill to do to, if you want to prime somebody, detonate something, and then you have to wait for her to cool down to like use her again in combat. So you kind of gotta fight by yourself. Cause Nev used the heal, I think, and she's been on cooldown ever since.
Now you'll notice there's blight boils throughout the area, and that's part of our philosophy on the combat encounters. If I don't destroy these blight boils, ghouls are going to continue to emerge. So I'm really focused on what targets do I take down first. This enemy is a little bit weaker. I think I'm going to have my companions focus on them while I deal with this grenadier that's given me some problem.
Yeah, I will say, and that's, I'm not on the stick. Corinne is much better at this game than I am, and
You say that?
Well, most of the time, yes, 100%.
Getting beat on, bro, because they just running up on you. He got no time to cast.
Really leaning into the organic. What I love about the Grenadiers is they basically rip off pieces of themselves and throw them at you, which explode as blight. And again, really leaning to the idea that the blight is organic and disgusting.
One thing that I'm noticing is that the combat encounters can get pretty intense. You end up fighting a lot of different enemies. You can
Getting beat
absolutely
on.
die if you're not careful.
Yes, and this, as we mentioned earlier, this is well into the game. So combat counters have really ramped up. And it really shows the importance of positioning, using your companions wisely, and looking for those synergies and combos. Now, this is interesting.
Smacked
We
up.
just went down. We've built our companions to be able to come to our aid. So we're actually going to use a revive here. And Nev to the rescue.
And as Corinne mentioned, this is later in the game, and Hossberg itself is what I would consider a later game area, and the encounters a little bit more challenging. It's a more dangerous space. This shows up in the encounter, but it also shows up in the visuals, the storytelling here. This is a place that you don't want to be. You don't want to be in Hossberg. It is full of darkspawn, full of blight, and generally not a pleasant place to be.
Well, we'll be able to explore
back real
more
quick,
of
though.
the Cauldron when Dragon Age the Veil
This shows up in the encounter, but it also shows up in the visuals,
No way.
the storytelling here.
After.
We've built our companions
Go
to
back
be
to
able
this.
to come to our aid. So we're actually going to use a revive here. And Nev to the rescue.
And as Corinne mentioned, this is later in the game, and Hosberg itself is what I would consider a late.
So does any of these synergize with the main character? I don't think any of these that Nev abilities have combo. I didn't see him do a single fucking combo with Nev. But he did. I think he did like 1 or 2 combos with Scout Harding. That nigga did not do a single combo with Nev. She's just there popping heals, bro. I think he did this crystal attack maybe once or twice. But I don't think Nev should have been there except to show off that she has healing magic, I guess. But like, they don't have fucking synergy at all, bro. They were talking about the synergy between them. Nev is not comboing at this moment. She's not useful at this moment.
And the encounter is a little bit more challenging.
Besides the
It's more
heal.
linear space. This shows up in the encounter, but it also shows up in the visuals, the storytelling here. This is a place that you don't want to be. You don't want to be in Hosberg. It is full of darkspawn, full of blight, and generally not a pleasant place to be.
Well, we'll be able to explore more of the Cauldron when Dragon Age: The Veilguard comes out on October 31st. In the meantime, we are going to be continuing on with our IGN First coverage of Dragon Age for the rest of September. And for everything that's great about games and RPGs, keep it locked on IGN.
All right, and that's the gameplay. I mean, it was kind of cool. It was fun to see them using a mage terribly in the most like unorthodox way, I guess, to show that hey, you could frontline as a mage. You want to get your ass beat on, because I mean they were dashing around. Dashing was kind of cool. The fighting was kind of cool, but you need somebody to pull that motherfucking aggro, because he was getting smacked around before he could cast a single spell. He was just getting beat on, and I'm like, Brody, we wanted you to look good as the mage. We wanted you to look good as the mage, and you looked hot garbage as that mage, bro. I hate when they have gameplays and it looks so bad, because we want to see the game look good, bro. We want you to show us the game in the best light possible. Not what the fuck you just showed us, bro, because it was outrageous. It was you was getting smacked around the map, fighting Darkspawn. You made fighting Darkspawn look hard. You made that shit look hard. I bet it's not that hard, bro. I bet it's pretty clean and simple, kind of like Mass Effect Andromeda was. That shit was clean as fuck. I don't like that they don't use their abilities individually though, because Mass Effect has went that route, the individual thing. Dragon Age has too. Like, why would they kind of revert the individuality of abilities to them using one ability and having a cooldown? I don't know. We're gonna have to see more of the game as September goes on to really figure out why they did that. It probably ties into the strategy or whatever the fuck they gonna say. But this wasn't a bad looking. This wasn't a bad showing. I enjoyed it. Hope y'all enjoyed it too. Make sure to like button, subscribe, and I want to do like a whole little like slow-mo breakdown, try to pick out pieces. But I'll see y'all in the next one.